that's like revolutionary talk now, to be like, yeah, you can't just inject people like they're animals, right? To say that people are not animals, to say that they're humans, is almost like a radical thing now, right? Like, it's ridiculous where we are in civilization. And at the same time, you have these other guys who are like, oh, let's live forever. We're all going to live forever. This is going to be amazing. And like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's annoying. But at the same time, you're kind of in a negotiation with them at the fringe, because, normal medicine, the typical medicine people, they don't want to be associated with anything that's like against big pharmaceutical companies, in favor of creating your own sort of space where you have reasonable assurance of voluntarism for medicine. And on top of that, there's a lot of cool possibilities for experimenting. And the big one, the 800-pound gorilla, by the way, of longevity, is basically you're injecting the so-called Wolverine protocol, basically BPC, which is body protection compound. There's two peptides, BPC and TB something 500. And there's two compounds that basically help people heal themselves much better. Specifically, your connective tissue, your ligaments, your cartilage, they tend to repair themselves much quicker with these compounds. And a lot of people are using them. And that's on top of decades of people using HGH, which is human growth hormone, which also helps to heal these tissues. And then some people are interested in microdosing or medium dosing of testosterone, which I think is really sort of the stepchild. It's not as interesting, and it's also maybe not as important to healing injuries, right? Like, gaining muscle maybe has its own value in the long run, but healing injuries is the essence of removing pain, and removing pain is the essence of maintaining your long run health. That's not disputable, and it has nothing to do with like ultra longevity. When Brian Johnson says flat out that he's going to live longer than the oldest woman who has ever lived, who was 127, these are extraordinary claims. Whether he's right or wrong, that's not the point. The point is he's making extraordinary claims based on his ego. And I'm saying you don't have to believe in ego to respect that there's an 800-pound gorilla of peptides that exist now that people have been using for years, and we don't have good data on them, but we know that there's something there. There's a signal. How do you make better use of it? Well, big pharmaceutical companies, they're not going to let you do that, right? And it's very unlikely. And if they do, they're going to put it in a box, the same sort of capitalistic, I don't like the word capitalistic. It's an extraction box. It's a rent-seeking box. And they're going to fuck everything up when there's all this potential, but really for improving people's injury healing. And injury healing is like, it's a multi-$100 billion industry. People get injured all the time. It's not just about aging. You get injured when you're 20, you fall off a scooter, whatever. So it's a very big deal for overall health, I think. And people who care about that in a way that isn't transhumanist or isn't pro-extraction, if you're not like, John Gottlieb or whatever, the guy who was like the head of, what's his name? The head of like Moderna, who became the head of the US FDA. Like, that's how incestuous and stupid our system is. It's that corrupt. And instead of just being like, it sucks, because it does, or I'll just be, a holistic medicine person and care about like my Ayurvedic whatever, it's okay to embrace sort of the modern mindset of like, we need better data, more data, but we don't need, $30 million trials that are double blind, so that the FDA can say, oh, this drug marketing is sufficient so that someone can make $1 billion on it, right? This is like this very narrow path. You're like between all these giants that extract everything and other people who just don't really want to explore and push the envelope at all. And I think that that's a tough path to go in the middle of, and like these longevity people, they're kind of taking up a lot of the space on that path. And they need to not necessarily be kicked off, but they need to be like redirected. And I think a lot of that is complicated, right? Like, Vitalik Buterin, who, I don't worship him, but he's a great guy. He wrote this book and published it and gave it away for free, this little pamphlet. People are trying to take ideas and run with them and not just endorse transhumanism. Transhumanism basically being anti-humanism. Like, to say that you're going to be beyond human is to say that basically existing humans are animals and shit, and the only thing that's important is some future idea of future man and the Ubermenschen, right? Like, this is essentially a fascistic notion of humanity that we're not good enough as we are now. We are, right? We are good enough. So writing about that and getting the longevity people to respect that is hard. It's a hard thing, and maybe it's a foolish errand. Maybe trying to redirect a false religion and get it back on track is not the way to go. I don't know, but I'm thinking about how to do it. And I'm in Chiang Mai, so I don't know if stuff stays here in Chiang Mai. There's a lot going on in Chiang Mai as well. There's a whole diaspora of Chinese Bitcoin people, and they made a permanent, they got like a 10-year lease, and they're making a permanent project here. And they're very good people, very intelligent people, and spiritful people. I like them a lot. They're not at all into longevity, really. I mean, they're open to everything. They want to build community. So it's and Chiang Mai is so affordable. People. Even today I was thinking about, man, we really need. I mean humans. I don't even mean crypto or network state. All this shit. People. We need a better guide to how to manage collective finances, not just individual finances, but collectively, because cost of living at the group level is really everything. When you have a good household, you have a good husband and wife team. They're really one of the thing that defines a good husband and wife is that together they're able to manage their budget very well for the children, right? You have dependents, you have people that you need to help, and the budgeting is so important. Chiang Mai, things are cheap here. It certainly makes things easier to budget for large groups, and network state, new projects, maybe permanent projects. It is an attraction, but then of course Chiang Mai is also filled with smoke 3 months a year. It has some of the worst air in the world because of the burning. So, that's a thought.
Well, in Galicia, in Spain, there's like in North Spain, the houses are about 20 to 40K. So at least the accommodation, I think, can be made quite affordable in North Spain, rural North Spain. There's a whole lot of there's actually real estate companies that sell entire abandoned villages in Spain.
All right. Okay, I have enough juice now. I can put on my I have 5%, so I'm not gonna turn on my 1 second. All right, let me get some light.
Yeah, to add on the Galicia, I interviewed someone who has been buying houses in an abandoned village, and I've met him at the Liberty Now Lifetime conference. And wow, like honestly, it's working. It's just he's currently struggling to develop a narrative for the right people to get attracted to this village, to this group. It's really all about now getting to know who are the people that we actually like to live around. And
just one question: is this Marnix or is it someone else?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Yeah, Marnix. Have you visited?
Yeah. I've exchanged some text messages with him in various places. I'd actually be very interested to see your email, your interview with him. Is that on YouTube?
I'll send you the links. Yeah, and I'm planning to potentially do events in these pop-up villages that are like pop-up villages events, so that we can start sharing what's actually happening on the ground, what's the development status and so on. It's just I'm the kind of person that really loves the comfort of developed home rather than camping. So anyway, that's why TDF is not for me yet. Okay, Ziv, go on. AI agents.
Just that's most of it. That's like that's most of it. The AI stuff, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with AI. I listen to a bunch of whatever. I go to these little mini talks. I can't say I really know much about what's going on with AI. A couple of my Telegram groups that I'm in are filled. I have some of these groups that I've been in from years ago in New York, and people are just gambling like crazy on all this virtuals and this AI and that agent, and none of that interests me. So
really,
yeah, I'm not interested. It is, if you're a builder, you build something, maybe somebody gambles on it, you get rich, whatever. But I think that's fine. Like, I'm not against people building, but I think the gambling is pretty degenerate behavior. We've seen it every cycle. Does it pull forward any more positive behavior? I don't know. Nothing that I think is worthwhile to pay attention to. But
why is it important?
Really interesting. What's that?
Why is it important that in your groups, in your spaces, AI agents are not allowed? Why do you value the real human
Yeah,
interaction
no.
more?
I was just talking to somebody that I normally talk to, and he put an AI agent on his Telegram. And he's a friend of mine, and I was like, no, like I'm not. I don't want to talk to people who like might be using AI to talk to me. I mean, it's bad enough that people their work product is AI. So like someone sent me like a one pager of a set of ideas, and I read it, and I was like, this is obviously not written by you, and I was like, I was annoyed by it because it's like, well,
testimony.
look, you can argue. Yeah, you could argue that something is very high quality, then it's high quality. But most of the AI stuff is pretty shitty. And if you know people that have high quality work and they send you pretty shitty stuff, then it's obvious they didn't write it. So it's like when you deal with people that are high quality, you want their high quality work. You don't want some AI passed off as their high quality. And the slippery slope to all this is that the stupid people, their work just gets replaced by AI, and the smart people's work actually gets dumber because it gets supplemented with AI. And then the super smart people, they make the AI, and their whole game is to tell everybody that's smart, well, over time, this will make you smarter and it will help you. But meanwhile, by the nature of how it's being used, it's just supplanting thought. It's substitution as opposed to complementing people. And that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be used. Marshall McLuhan talked about television and the 5-second attention span. AI is used as a substitution right now. It's not going to be used to complement people. It could, theoretically, it could, if you forced it and you had etiquette and you had ethics and rules and religion around it. But if you just let people up to their own devices, the commercial market will just basically encourage people to save time.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is.
That's what I get. I get the impression AI is massively cheaper, but slightly lower quality. So like you're getting, and this is the thing that like the intelligent people who put a huge amount of effort into producing work very slowly. It takes years for an intelligent person to produce a high quality kind of work, and an AI can produce a sort of work that sort of looks okay quality in a second, and kind of and people just get tempted by that time saving to use the AI, when in actual fact, just getting that finesse of quality takes years, and they just think, why don't I just save a little bit of time, pump it out in a second, do a bit of editing, and pump it out to someone. It encourages people to be lazy.
Yeah, I have a particular anecdote, which is, I wouldn't say distressing to me personally, but this is how things are really going, at least from one perspective. I know a teacher very close to me, and she's a professor, and she grades English papers, sophisticated English papers about pedagogy. So this is an education curriculum to train teachers in the United States. Now, some of the kids do use AI. She can tell when they're using it, whatever. She bans it. She makes them, and the school does. The school makes people not use AI to the extent it can. Okay, whatever, big deal, whatever. But she grades these people's papers, and they're long, and she is underpaid. If you look at the standard pay, this is a person who's underpaid. A lot of teachers are, a lot of professors are at smaller tier schools. And just doesn't have time to grade all these papers properly. So they start using AI to grade the papers. And there's no way you're going to catch someone if they're grading papers. It's not like there's like someone there to like police this activity. So it's starting to basically inject itself in the feedback loop, right? If you're using AI to grade papers to give feedback to people on how they should think about their work, I think that this is like, it's a high level trickle down, like very, very top down, messy reality for AI.
Did you hear about the UK judge that used AI to write a court ruling?
I think I heard something about that. I think I heard some rumor about that. Yeah.
Sooner or later, AI is going to put you in jail.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I think we should not be too arrogant about AI. Definitely not. You know, this is quite a danger to think we are smart. We are just really dumb to see that we are not smart. And AI will definitely, like my last Airbnb guest here was one of the 2000 grandmasters of chess. That guy is saying even ChatGPT is outsmarting him. So how can I be arrogant about what is coming? And yeah, I see it as a big threat to humanity, and it's so confusing, and I don't even think it's a hype cycle. This is the same like people in 1994 spoke about telemedicine, you know, that a doctor appears via video screen on your computer and gives you basically a prescription. This didn't happen, but somehow it developed in a different direction. So I would not be arrogant about AI at all.
Yeah, the progress is terrifying. The rate of progress is terrifying. I've seen it. Yeah.
Well, the people who go to regular schools will be the ones who are left behind in 10 years from now. Schools need to die. Only the dumb people will go to school. That's what I forecast. How inefficient 12 years being locked in what you can do in 6 or 7.
Okay.
This
on,
week,
Tim.
by the way, Sam Altman, you know, whatever you think about him, he said that it's clear there's going to be AGI, and you know, he was basically reiterating a lot of the new developments in AI are going to accelerate. So I think the big concern with AI for me personally is that as governments become more desperate and large companies become more desperate because of more debt and essentially